two ranges to fill, two big profits to make. So how do we make big profit today trading SPY and QQQ options? So we go to today's date. Again, we post all these in the Discord before we take them. So 3rd of October, 3 minutes before market opens, we put a range to fill on both QQQ and SPY. Again, we posted the chart just to show you the levels we're looking at. And then we also have an algo level, and it has a high of 568.86 on SPY. So you can expect it. Basically, I'll break that down when we're on here. So again, we provided the levels there, algo level, there. That is mainly what we're looking at for today. Again, if you've been watching these videos, you always know this orange range is basically, or the golden range is basically what we expect to fill, as we have put on the chart. So we go over to the chart. Again, that range is here, that range is here. We said we had an algo high level on SPY, that is here. So the way we look and kind of trade this setup, and again, we'll go through it because we did post in the Discord, is we expect this whole range to fill. Now, that part of the range is filled already, so again, we don't have to deal with that bit, but we now expect this part to still fill. And what you'll see is we get a move away. We expect a move to the algo high level, and this is our open or area to get short down into that area there. And again, we posted all of this over in the Discord, and as well, just to note, again, we do use the futures. We tend to use these for open gaps, and we can see we had open gaps to drive us up. So again, we're going to use our upside gaps as entries. So on ES, this upside gap is going to be entry to help us fill that short. However, on NQs, these gaps were to the upside. And again, if we go over to the Qs, our range was to the upside. So when we have everything lining up to the upside, we don't have to wait for a downside entry. We can just hit in on the open and let it run to the upside, which is how we traded the Qs. Now, yeah, again, we're just breaking down everything a bit further there. Again, NQ gaps are filled. That is also our range filled, or near enough filled, which again, we posted here. Entry, exit. We expect this all to fill over on the QQQs. Now, main play now is going over to SPY. And so again, we talk about the exact setup we're looking at. And again, this was posted at 9:44 market time. We had only had this price action. Again, we expect these upside gaps to fill because we have the ES futures gap, as well as we have an algo level all the way up there. So we expect this to get filled, and then we can run down to the range. If we just, and again, sometimes we'll just run straight down. We're not going to get a great risk to reward entering around here to here, because again, it's where do we place a stop, because we still expect us to push all that way. So when we put these ideal setups, it means really if we just came straight down, no trade, we're not going to make money on that. We'll just leave it to the next trade. However, if we can push up to here, that's our entry short. Great risk to reward. The trade then makes sense. And again, just telling you exactly what I'm looking to play for this, and that was the 566 puts. Again, we're going to look to get entry around $50, and then we can target around 150. So again, the risk to reward makes sense. And again, that's just looking at the options. We know roughly, okay, we want it to come a bit higher, so these options should drop to around $50 a contract. Again, kind of just breaking down the play even more. We're out of the QQQ. And actually, we're out of the SPY. We got out of SPY a bit early, so we got out of SPY here. And again, we'll break down why that is over on here. First is, well, you can see the options. We post our entry, we got out up here. Again, we bought in around $50. Where did these contracts go up to? They went up to around 125 when we got out. So again, that's around 140% return. So again, if we're letting these options expire worthless, as long as we're making more than 100, we got a positive risk to reward. So that is the algo level we wanted to come up. Again, remember, we posted what we were looking at our play here. Came down slightly, pushed up. This is our entry short. Obviously, to go a bit more offside. That's fine. That's why we run the option, so we don't have to have a fixed stop. We get the initial drop down. Again, that's on actually, that's your 10 a.m. news. Kind of this push here into the algo level. We push a bit above it. Kind of get a wipe out to the downside. Retest of the algo level. And then we get this kind of main drop down, which again, and we can kind of start getting an idea of how it's moving. Kind of do these big moves down, bit of consolidation, pop back up. So as we kind of kept seeing this, it's why we took profits on this drop here. And again, that's what we posted in the Discord, taking profits here. Reason for that is, again, we kind of know it's just going to keep windsawing about. So even if we break down to here, we should know how the options move. That kind of move on the options, if you're doing that move away and then back down, you're not really going to make much more. And I can show you what I mean. If I pull up the 566 options, you go over to here. Again, you can even see we got in at 53 around here. Comes down a bit lower, that's fine. You get the initial pop. Would have made sense to actually take some profits on there, but again, at this point we don't know that's how it's going to move. But you get another wipe down. For some reason the tool that let me on the screen has stopped working, but we get the pull down, pull back up, and again, this is why we took profits here, because again, you got this option moving average. We're coming down basically into the bottom of the range, but if we move like this again, even if we come and fill the range, we're only going to be looking for an extra few dollars, which doesn't make sense to take on all that risk, because in this case, again, we got out at 125, which is here. We pull back down, you would have lost, 50 bucks on that pullback, just to run another 10 bucks. Then it does one more pullback, and even if you let it run that extra thing, again, you're taking on all that risk just to make an extra $15 on the high end. Doesn't really make too much sense. So again, that's why if we see these kind of pops, it can make sense to kind of just get out. And as well, sometimes that will increase the implied volatility on the options, and that's normally why you don't make much more if it does a second run to the downside. But anyway, that was kind of the main trading basically breakdown for the day. We had two ranges, and that's how we mainly trade every day. Ranges, Qs went straight up, filled instantly. Again, we only had upside targets. If we go over to the futures, we only had upside targets on Qs, so getting straight in and running this up makes sense. There's nothing dragging Qs down. SPY, on the other hand, again, you had an algo range high, you had an upside gap. So even though our range tells us we're going to come down, we need to wait for that entry, and it's all about being patient and waiting for the good setup, which is filling this upside gap. You coming into that algo high, which they weren't too far away from each other. The gap was around here, the algo was around here. This is our range too short, down into a good risk to reward, down into that range bottom. So that was today's trading day. I hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next one, and that's it. Peace.